Aquí estamos en manifestación de apoyo por la paz. Hyde Park corner acá.
It is time all of this was brought to an end. The slaughter of people in Gaza must end. And an end to the denial of the Palestinian people of their right for self-determination. Those who don't want peace, who are stuck in the mindset of war, must be rejected. War is not the only option. That breaking the cycle of conflict will mean political leaders, Israeli and Palestinian, taking real risks for peace. And that means, in the first instance, engaging in dialogue. There will be no peace without dialogue. All democratic mandates must be respected. The Israeli government must be prepared to talk directly to Hamas. It's the only way to agree a negotiated peace settlement. It's the only realistic way to end the decades of war and injustice. What is needed is a real and unrelenting international effort to construct a durable peace settlement which provides for two states, but in particular for a Palestinian state that is sustainable and viable. That's the message of today's demonstration from Jerry Adams. Our next speaker represents the coalition of Jewish organisations that have come together to oppose Israel's massacre and to oppose Israel's war. I'm representing from Jews for Justice for Palestinians.
I come here today to speak to tens of thousands of you on behalf of tens of thousands of people of Jewish origin in the United Kingdom, through European Jews for a Just Peace, and across the world. We have a very simple message: end the murder now. End the blockade now. End the occupation now. 3 weeks ago, I was in Gaza. I went to Gaza on the Free Gaza Boat Dignity as an academic to bring out students who were trapped there by the Israelis, who had scholarships to study abroad, to learn, to develop their skills, to build a new country, to help their families, to help their communities. And we were proud to bring out 11 students who will serve Gaza well. As an educationist, I did many visits while I was in Gaza. I visited the Islamic University of Gaza that has since been bombed. I visited the Gaza Agricultural College that has since been shelled. I have visited the Ministry of Education that has been bombed. These are not terrorist institutions. These are institutions that are building a new free society, a free Gaza. This is a story of 3 elections. The American election, where the Israelis did a cowardly invasion to kill 6 Palestinians and spark off the current conflict and give themselves an excuse for invasion. It's the story of the Palestinian election, where people elected a government of their choice. We don't always like the governments we elect. I didn't like the one we elected in '79, but I have to put up with it. And even more, it's the story of the Israeli election. Every bomb is an election leaflet for Livni saying, vote for Kadima. Every shell is an election leaflet for Barak saying, vote for Israeli Labour Party. This is an election campaign being conducted in the blood of Palestinian children. It is a criminal shame and we must stop it.
Thank you very much. And today we commend and salute the letter published in The Guardian by our friends from the Jewish community. More than 100 Jewish figures of British society who have written a letter published in The Guardian today condemning the Israeli attacks on Gaza. We salute them. Allow me to read a statement from another long-standing friend of Palestine, the former mayor of London, Ken Livingstone. Every day we see appalling pictures of children slaughtered by Israeli bombs, missiles and other sophisticated weapons. Yet with more than 700 dead, now 800 dead, and thousands more seriously wounded, the international community is allowing Israel to continue its completely disproportionate onslaught, accompanied by an Orwellian litany of lies. The root of this conflict is not crude Hamas rockets. It is the strangulation of Gaza by a pitiless blockade by Israel over a prolonged period of time, reducing the population to abject poverty, and repeated military incursions, killing Palestinians in violation of the ceasefire agreed previously. If anyone doubts this, they simply have to understand that Israel has also killed or injured hundreds of people in the West Bank over the last year, with no Hamas missiles at all, and continues a process of colonization of that area with illegal settlements and military checkpoints slicing the territory to pieces. The British government and European Union have the economic leverage to stop this carnage. They must take decisive action to force Israel to end this slaughter. This should start with the withdrawal of ambassadors from Israel and the suspension of the EU's trade agreements with Israel. And escalate until Israel ends all military operations, withdraws completely from Gaza and lifts its blockade. Hamas has repeated